when I was 14, 15 and I had that really bad spell, I felt like I just didn't want to play darts again. My first week I was so nervous, and then I think I won about 5 or 6 in a row.
How would you describe the exposure that women's darts get?
They want the entries to increase, but it's not being shown. How can it be increased if nobody knows about it? A big thing for me is I don't want to be a good lady player. I want to be a good dart player.
Hello, welcome along to the Tungsten talk here at the MODUS Super Series of Pluto TV, where we're delving into the life and times of darting stars. And this evening we're having a look back at the career and having a chat about the darts life of Gemma Hayter. Gemma, great to see you here. First of all, how much are you enjoying playing in things like the Super Series?
Yeah, I love it. It's a good opportunity for me to test myself. Obviously, as we'll find out, I've not been back very long. So it's a great opportunity to kind of see where my level is and hopefully where it can kick on to.
When you came back, could you have imagined that things would go this well, this quickly?
No, definitely not. I kind of get a bit of a complex where I feel like things are happening too soon. So there's talk of like Q school, etc. And to be honest, it kind of scares me because I think, oh my God, I'm not ready for that yet. So it's just kind of adjusting.
So actually, one of the biggest things for you is kind of like tempering expectations, because you doing as well as you have done. I suppose other people will say, yeah, but what about this? What about that? Where some players may ride that crest of wave, but you kind of, I take it, you kind of just know where you are in terms of level and where you kind of want to get to in time.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Like I say, I feel like everything's happened very quickly. There's other ladies that have very good lady players that have been playing for years and they haven't had the opportunities that I've got after just over a year being back. So I'm very aware of that. And I'm just lucky, I guess.
It's very seldom that we see female players take to the game and then take to success as quickly as Gemma had since her return.
Yeah, I mean, we see it as quickly as that. I mean, I first come across Gemma back in 2016 in Glen Rothes. And Gemma was always someone, you know, as much as like, what is she, where is she now? What is she doing? So that 2016 sort of period until, yeah, she burst onto the scene in 2024. And, you know, I'm intrigued to find out the story behind that. But she's had talent for a long time. If you go back and look at some of the stats, you know, I found her going playing in the World Masters Girls in 2009 as well. So won by Zoe Jones. Yeah, Zoe Jones.
The Pink Panther.
Yeah, and the semi-finalist Kirsty Hutchinson there. But a lot of players who are either not playing now. So that transition we talk about from girls to ladies to, you know, obviously into other things like the MODUS Super, it's not easy. And Gemma's done that magnificent because she's very talented. Let's
go back to the start. Do you remember the first time you picked a dart up? Do you remember the first time darts was in your life?
Yeah, so my dad played Hampshire for quite a while. He's played darts for years. My nan played for Hampshire. My nan and granddad had a pub. My mum and dad had a pub. So it was kind of always been there. I think my first dartboard was on the back of the garden shed. So, and my second dartboard was also on the back of the garden shed, but on my nan's shed because she wouldn't let me put it in the house in case I put holes in the wall.
So basically, there was no other choice. You're always going to be playing darts.
Yeah, I was just always cold playing darts in the garden. Yeah.
So it was a family thing for yourself. Who were kind of your inspirations then, family-wise?
It was definitely my nan. She was the one that took me to my first youth event. She was the one that drove me up and down the country. She'd drive me to Bridlington. Yeah, she was definitely my number one fan. Similar
pattern, isn't it? We had Jamie Lewis. We were chatting to the pub background and so grateful to parents, grandparents for supporting them and driving. They're the unsung heroes.
They most definitely are. So from playing on a dartboard on the back of sheds, where did you realise, actually, I'm okay at this?
I think I took to it quite quickly. When I used to speak to my nan about it, she would say, because me and my sister started at the same time and my cousin, and they always thought that my sister was the most natural and she never carried it on. And then I think I started Hampshire Youth when I was 12, and then I got called up to the senior team when I was 14.
Wow.
So was it a case of once you started playing properly, actually you realised you were making a lot of progress rather quickly?
Yeah, so I used to play football, and then I got more into darts, and then, yeah, football slowly disappeared, and then darts was my main sport.
And it's interesting as well. We spoke yesterday, and we've spoken over the course of the last few weeks about players that actually darts may not always be the first sport. That there's also there's other interests, there's other sports that are in play.
Yeah, I think it's really important to do that. You know, I can get spiritual about it because I genuinely believe someone like Luke Littler, who will be a conversation in this one, because I believe Gemma was inspired by Luke. Sometimes you're born to do something, and sometimes you've got to try a couple of sports before you find the one that really suits you as well. And you know, it's one of those games. It's full of camaraderie. It's full of teamwork. It's a very individual sport as well. But interesting that many of the players have that similar background as well.
So what was next then after playing youth for yourself?
It was obviously getting called up to the senior team when I was 14. And then I kind of, I don't know, again, it might be the complex too much too soon. I started off really well with the seniors. And then I think for about a year, it wasn't dartitis, but it was something in my shoulder, which I'd kept dropping my shoulder and my darts were going really low. And I remember being about 14, 15, travelling all the way to Yorkshire, and I lost within an 11 average in the B. And I was distraught. And then I took some time out, didn't play the Summer Super League. And then eventually I think I got back in the team when I was about 17 years old.
Let's move a little bit further on then, and then how your true senior career started, maybe a bit more in terms of singular playing, in terms of a bit more county stuff. Where was the next step as you grew a bit older in years?
So I think I was 21 when I got picked for the England team, which was, I kind of knew my name was in talks, but I mean, you've only got to look at the team that I played with. A massive case of imposter syndrome for myself. There was obviously Dieter Hedman, Lisa Ashton, Trina Gulliver, Lorraine Winstanley, and Fallon Sherrock. And I remember thinking, what am I doing here?
I mean, that's arguably the best England six-player team that you're going to get. Then it was a ferocious team round about 2016 as well. But I do remember sort of Gemma, if she might correct me, but I certainly remember it winning against Scotland. Because Glen Rothes is a really, really difficult sort of place. The passion and the desire that they have for the darts there. And it was a hall that held about 350 people, a red atmosphere in there. So, you know, if you're going to make your debut for England, Glen Rothes is not a bad place to learn your craft.
Is it fair to say that was probably the highlight of the first half of your career?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, again, because I didn't expect it. And I remember, I think we played Wales on the Friday night or the Saturday. It might have been the Saturday morning, and I lost to Rhian Griffiths, who is a very, very good player. And I knew I had a tough game. I didn't play my best, and I lost. And then I wasn't very happy. Kind of sulked the Saturday night, and I thought, you've come all this way, you need to obviously pull it out now. And then I think I managed to win with 77.5 average, so it wasn't too bad in the end.
So then after that, what was the kind of next path for you within darts?
Well, I gave up. So the same year I think I got picked for England is the same year that I gave up.
Wow.
So for me, I felt like there wasn't the opportunities for me to take it where I wanted to take it. And also I'd met my partner. We were very serious. I wanted to get a house, and all I was playing was a county system. And the highest you could get through that was playing for England, and I just felt like I'd accomplished that already.
You felt like, I suppose, there was nothing else really to achieve, pretty much.
Yeah, basically, because I didn't do the tour or anything, and I couldn't because of work. So just life gets in the way, which is, I think, probably why you lose a lot of very, very good players, because unfortunately, life just does get in the way.
Paying the bills as well. I mean, representing your country, Henry, is a special moment. And for Gemma, you know, it's extra special. The name she's playing alongside, imposter syndrome, she called it there. It was just a period, if you're going to get picked for that. But once you've done it once as well, it's great to continue. And that sort of longevity of representing your country, like a Martin Adams, like a Trina Gulliver. But someone once said to me, playing for England doesn't pay the bills. And it costs money to represent your country. When
you did take the break, did you ever have like a chuck at any point? Or were they just completely away?
I'd play every now and again. I'd play in charity competitions, like blind pairs competitions, or I'd play like a local league. So I wouldn't say I completely stopped, but obviously it was nowhere near what I was playing.
I want to ask about what your relationship with darts is, how you feel your relationship with the sport is.
That's a very In what terms? Like, I don't really know how to answer that.
How would you describe your feeling towards the game? Because obviously you've been involved in the game, you've played, you've taken breaks. How would you overall describe your feelings and your affection for the game?
I think at the minute I'm really enjoying it, but that's easy to say when you're winning. And touch wood. I don't know if that is wood.
That is wood. It is wood. Good. Don't worry, it's wood.
So touch wood. Yeah, that will continue. But it's easy to say when you're playing well. It'll be if or when there is obviously the downturn. That will be probably where the relationship will change a bit.
Was there times where you really did dislike the game?
Yeah, like I said, when I was 14, 15, and I had that really bad spell, I felt like I just didn't want to play darts again. You kind of got hyped up as this big thing. I remember somebody saying to me, "Oh, you're going to be world champion by the time you're 18," and I thought, I'm literally just played one game for Hampshire ladies. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's a difficult one to try and navigate when you're young.
Let's talk about your return to the game then. First of all, how many years was the break for you, and how long were you actually plotting potentially a path back into the game?
So I think it was about an 8-year break, give or take a few months, and then I came back in 2024. But yeah, I was planning to come back a year earlier, but there was an unfortunate death in my family, which put that back a bit.
How much did the Luke Littler effect actually give you that? Yeah, I'm going to give this a go.
Yeah, it was huge. I think just seeing something that I used to love and play so much, then just burst onto the scene as obviously Luke did. But then, I mean, I've said it before, but Luke Humphries is somebody that I played youth darts with, and I mean, he won the world championship. So if that doesn't make you inspired as well, then I'm not sure what would.
And what does that actually entail? Because do you just suddenly pick up your darts, or did you find your local league team? What does it mean that you got back into darts?
Yeah, so we had a board up. Steph, my partner, put the board up, and I was having a few throws, and I thought, oh, these are going all right. And then I joined my local league, which was a Wednesday night. Adam Lipscomb plays in it every now and again. Very, very high caliber of players, and I think my first week I was rubbish. I was so nervous, and it was kind of threw me a bit how nervous I was. But it was mainly a men's league, but obviously it's mixed. And then I think I won about 5 or 6 in a row. So
is it like riding a bike that once you know what it's like to ride it, you can get used to it straight away quite quickly, or was it a bit harder than that?
For me, I think it was like riding a bike, but it was also like riding a bike that I've never ever ridden before, because the level I was playing at was a level that I'd never been near previously. So I remember somebody that I used to play youth darts with came, and he was like, "Oh, it's really frustrating when you take a break and you come back and you're not as good as you were." And I was like, well, I think I'm better than I was. So yeah, it was really interesting.
So what was behind then the decision to play at the women's series? Was it something you thought straight away, I'm going to have a go at, or was it something you kind of pushed yourself into?
It's something I always kept an eye on. Obviously, when you are playing county darts or youth darts, you make a lot of friends in the dart scene. So there was always people that I would keep an eye on. So it was just something that I looked at and I thought, I'm averaging around these averages or maybe a bit better. And I messaged my partner, and she was like, "Right, I've booked the week off work. I'm gonna drive you."
And then the first one. Do you remember what the feeling was like going into the venue? And did you have any kind of preconceptions of that?
I remember being really nervous because I was used to going to like local events like Selsey or Hayling Island, and they'd have the yellow paper with the black like crayon thing, and then you'd rip the paper off when there was, and then there was iPads everywhere, and I was like, "What is this?" It was mad.
Could you imagine you would take to it as quickly as you did?
No. I'd been obviously playing competitively locally, but something like, well, internationally, I suppose. I just thought just take it one game at a time and see where it goes. And then, it went as far as the semi-finals.
Can I just ask about one challenge that I had when I was sort of in the BDO, and how are you combining work with the darts as well?
I've been very fortunate. I've recently switched jobs, but I used to work for Wetherspoons, and that was a struggle because obviously pub work involves a lot of weekends. But I had a really good relationship with my manager, I still get messages from her now. Actually, when I do really well, she messages me. So, yeah, luckily, I've had very good work at like managers.
And then very quickly you get signed on by a management company. What was that like? Was that just a bit of like, whoa, I've just come back here, now this is getting very serious?
Yeah, so I remember the weekend because when I was younger, I always felt like it's going to sound really big-headed, but I always felt like I was one of the better youth girl players. And I would see people getting sponsorship deals or signed, and I would think, why not me? So it almost got to a point where I didn't think it would ever happen. And then I had, I think it was the second PDC event, the women's series, I beat Fallon with a 97 average. And then, yeah, it went mental. I had offers coming out of my ears.
And then I suppose it then all completely spiraled out of control. Then you go and win on the circuit. That first title, what was that feeling like?
It was really special. I actually felt really sorry for Rhian, because if you looked at the run that Rhian O'Sullivan had, I think she had Noah Lynn, she had Bo, she had Fallon, and she'd beaten all these people. And I honestly think she was just tired because she'd had to play so well. Obviously, I had Paige Paulin, who was a very good player in the semi-finals. So I honestly think that Rhian ran out of steam a bit, and I think I got lucky in that final.
And then in terms of the opportunities that's been picked up since, obviously you've played here at the Super Series a couple of times, and you also played on the WADC circuit as well in 2024. You got top enough in the seedings to play the Tour Championship, and then you were able to play in a big event in front of the cameras, in front of the lights here, in front of your home crowd. We'll talk about winning it in a second, but first of all, what was it like to play in front of your people, like your friends and your family in your own town?
It was really nerve-wracking. Luckily, my first MODUS appearance kind of set me up for what the crowd would be like, because when I got through to the finals night at the MODUS, I just remember thinking, oh my God, they are so loud.
Yeah.
And I wasn't prepared for that at all. And I remember thinking, right, I need to, before I approach the Yocket, I need to take a step back, because they were just shouting. So I think that set me up well for the WADC finals.
You get to the finals, and not just do you get to the final, you beat Fallon Sherrick, and you beat Fallon Sherrick by 4-0. Was there points, I mean, you had one or two games that were a little bit different, but in that final, did you feel like whatever you touched turned to gold? Yeah,
there was times, throughout the day, there was times where I felt like that. I mean, Angela Kirkwood was a superb player, very, very good player, and I was very, very fortunate to get past her, but yeah, when I played Fallon, I thought, right, that's it now. Like I'm going to win this, and luckily it happened.
When you made your debut for England in 2016, compared to the Women's Series now, I mean, I could often pick the semi-finalists if I went to a major tournament. Now, that Women's Series now, it's just so impressive. You know, it's like 1 of 8, 1 of 16 that can win it now. Has that been noticeable, how difficult the competition is?
Yeah, it is incredibly difficult now to try and navigate your way through the Women's Series. And I love it. And that's what I want. I want to see more people. You've got, I mean, at the last one, there was 2 people from Portugal, 1 person from Brazil, 9 from Finland. And yeah, I love it. I love seeing everyone coming in and doing well. And yeah, I think it's all good for ladies darts.
How would you describe the exposure that women's darts gets in terms of the press, in terms of events, in terms of coverage?
Be honest. I've seen your social media
posts. Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like coming here for a Women's Week, I've said it before in an interview, like it's brilliant because socials don't change. Whether it's a doubles week, Women's Week, a main week, the socials they're just all the same. You get the same coverage. Whereas if you go to a PDC event, they literally show like the last 6 matches, 6 darts of the match, and that's it. There's no highlights on YouTube. There's no way of watching that match. And I've referred to a game between Lauren Salter and Bo Greaves.
Yeah.
I did say Lauren was 18 or 19, but she's actually 23. Mm-hmm. So Lauren is 23 years old, and she played incredibly well, beat Bo with an 80 average. And she's never seen that game back because the footage was never posted anywhere, and apparently it gets deleted. So
what's what would you say the next step forward is for women darts in terms of more mainstream coverage?
I would just like them to even just a highlights package. Like you mentioned my social media. I think the day after the Women's Series there was a Euro Tour, and there was already a highlights package on the Monday afternoon, and there was nothing for the women. And I just don't get. They want the entries to increase, but it's not being shown. So how can it be increased if nobody knows about it?
Let's talk then about yourself, and let's talk about moving forward. And 2025, what your goals and aspirations are? You're in a very good position to qualify for the World Match Play. Is that the first one on the bucket list? Get yourself to Blackpool?
Yes, that's the main aim. I'm looking good at the minute. I think I'm 5th, so that's the main aim. I think I need a few more like money on the rankings. Which again, if you look at last year, I think Aileen got in with 4,700, and I've surpassed that at the minute. But I still feel like because of all the new players come in, I need to add more onto that to guarantee it.
When you go to Blackpool, do you see yourself as a realistic contender should you qualify?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I'd like to think so. If my form continues, yeah, I would hope so. I mean, I played a amazing final against Bo at the last Women's Series. So yeah, if I continue in that form, yeah, I would hope so.
She's got incredible strengths. She is one of the few players that, even with Bo at the best, I mean, you know, Bo is spectacular. My favourite throw in the world of darts. I just think if anyone's going to take that spot. But I think I said in commentary at the Women's Series, if there's one player who has that scoring power, that fear factor's not there. Tremendous final, as she alluded to there as well. And she just has to keep that belief, because if you can score big and hold your own under pressure, you're going to have a big chance. And for me, she has those attributes. I think it's a really exciting 2025, injury-free.
Finally, if we were sat in these chairs, sat on this table in 1 year's time, and you could say, right, I know what I want for a very good year, what would that good year be in your eyes?
Oh, I don't know, to be fair. I think obviously the match play is a huge one for me. So I just want to keep playing well. I just want to keep progressing. And a big thing for me is I don't want to be a good lady player. I want to be a good dart player. And I think that's the next step that the ladies need to take now. We all know the ladies are good at darts, and now we need to start showing that we're good players, not just good lady players.
Well, Gemma, great place to finish. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
really do appreciate it. Thank you as well as ever. And thank you for watching the latest edition of the Tungsten Talk here at the MODUS Super Series.